I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another regular episode number 25 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
Stop asking me. This is ridiculous.
Never.
I'm great, man. I'm absolutely fantastic. Today I'm the tired one, as opposed to you. How are you doing? Are you tired today?
I'm tired, but I believe you if you say you're more tired. Oh,
yeah.
I'll give you the title today.
You'll give me the title.
Yeah, of most tired.
It's an honor. It's the biggest award in the Best Thing We've Seen community. Yeah.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
What do you do to be this tired? Tell me all about it.
No, I don't know. Ooh. This energy today. You know, we've had a couple of different vibes over the weeks, right? We had that midnight special once. We had a great one. It was a good one, yeah. We had some where we sort of faked some energy. Right now,
which one?
I don't know. I was going to make a joke and say all of them, but that's not really the case. We just did it a couple of times, you know.
Yeah.
And as soon as we fake it, then we really feel it. No, I mean,
yeah,
it helps.
You gotta be professionals about it. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know what's going on today. It's just for some reason. I need you to lift up my spirits a little bit. I don't know why. I really don't have a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there for you.
I'll shit all over your pick. That's going to make me feel a bit better.
You better not.
Right.
Just because you said that, I'm going to pick a different pick just because I know you like this film.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
I love the influence that I have over you. So, I feel like we should talk a little bit more about Hamilton. What have you been doing the last 2 weeks? Have you been listening to it more?
Of course. How could I stop, dude?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we took a little trip a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I think we already talked about it a little bit, but...
Did we?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, but we started listening to Hamilton in the car. Made to part 2. Pretty much. On our car right there. And dude, it was amazing.
We listened to have
the intermission, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a great soundtrack. And I've been listening to a couple of songs that you then kind of proposed we listen to from Hamilton.
Right.
Which I kind of already forgot about. And yeah.
Have you watched the documentary?
The document on Disney Plus? No, I haven't.
No, not the one on Disney. I think there's 2 different ones now. I think they released a documentary that wasn't out before on Disney Plus alongside the musical.
All right.
But there's been one that's been out for like a couple of years now, and it's now up on YouTube, and like not like officially, it's not like uploaded on the Hamilton channel or anything,
right.
But someone uploaded it. It's called Hamilton's America, and it talks about sort of how the whole thing was made, really, and it followed Miranda like around when he wrote it. It's really interesting.
It's like a couple of short videos. It's like a real like 1 hour, 90 minutes documentary about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's 90 minutes. It's like a TV special. It's like a PBS show or something like that. It's not like an official documentary, but it's like one episode of a documentary series was focused on that, I believe.
All right. Did you find out any cool behind-the-scenes stuff?
Yeah, I actually I bought the book this week as well.
The one Lin-Manuel Miranda
wrote. What do you mean?
Read. What?
No, not the one he read.
All right.
No, not the biography that he based it on. No, he alongside one of his friends, he wrote a book also about the how the whole thing, also how it was made. It's called Hamilton's Revolution, and I got that in the mail yesterday, and I've been flicking through it. It's really interesting. I mean, it's I've only read the first couple of pages, but it sort of it gives you an insight as to how he wrote every song. That's something that the documentary doesn't really focus on, but in the book he analyzes certain phrases and talks about why he used that sentence there and how proud he's of that sentence and blah, blah, blah. It's really interesting. And it's a very, very cool book.
It's kind of cool to get an insight of how people come up with stuff, because
Yeah.
it seems like so impossible to kind of create a whole song, a whole musical about such a
It really
you know,
does.
boring thing.
Yeah. No,
Usually it would be a boring thing.
Yeah. It's
But, yeah.
mind-blowing how he did it. I mean, for example, there's the song My Shot, which is like one of the early songs. That took him like over a year to write. Just that one song.
Oh, well, how come?
It's just because he wanted to, I don't know, he wanted it to be in a specific way, and he wanted to show that Hamilton is the one who's sort of able to, or who's always the smartest guy in the room, and he wanted to, I don't know, it took him just a long time to perfect every single verse. And it obviously you listen to it and you feel like, yeah, that's a good song, and but the amount of work it takes to actually like write it is incredible.
Yeah, I guess you gotta be a perfectionist to
Yeah.
get this kind of level of fame in the musical community.
Yeah, I mean he has done it, and he deservedly so, in my opinion. Because I keep watching it too. Like I've rewatched it a couple of times now as well. The musical.
A couple of times, wow.
I love
It's like nearly 3 hours long.
Well, I've watched the whole thing twice, and now I'm sort of in the middle of the third viewing.
Wow. I see why, dude. It's a fun classic already.
Yeah, it's more like something to listen to than to actually watch. Even obviously, I do watch it, but it's just easier to consume for me for whatever reason. Right. Let's talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. Obviously, we're doing another regular episode, because last week was the special. Talked about Scarlett Johansson films, which was a good special, I thought.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one. Some great movies in there that I don't think a lot of people have heard of. Some of them obviously they have.
Yeah, like Match Point.
Sure.
I don't know many people who actually know that film, I
Yeah.
think.
Ghost World, yeah, a couple of things. And yeah, today we're just going to talk about the best thing we've seen all week, the best newly released thing. Do you want to give him the quick summary of what the show is about?
Sure. So on our normal episodes, we talk about the best thing that we've seen all week, like a film, TV show, YouTube video, whatever. Usually that's something that's been released in the last couple of months. And yeah, we like to...
usually because you're going to break the rule.
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
And yeah, we talk about the best thing that we've seen all week.
All right, and we don't know what the other one will choose.
Yeah.
And
But-
it's my
Yeah, and you said that there are a couple of things that you want to watch for this week's episode.
yeah, I got around to watching one of them.
Out of how many things?
No, it's genuinely like a couple of weeks ago I made a list of things that came out in the last 6 months or something like that I could watch in case I'm missing something to talk about.
That's smart.
And I got
should
to
do that too.
Yeah. And I watched one of those things. Something that actually came out very recently, but I didn't watch it until this week because obviously I was focused on the last special episode we had.
Right, yeah.
But my pick this week is going to be something that I know you haven't seen because you don't have that streaming platform.
Apple
TV Plus. And it's Greyhound.
Ah, dude. I thought you were going to pick that one.
Yeah.
Because I looked up things that came out recently and I saw Greyhound, that it's on Apple Plus.
Mhm.
I knew it would be just a matter of time till you watch it.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's a Tom Hanks film. That's got to be a reason enough to watch it, no? And I've actually heard him or read him. Can you read someone talking about something? I heard him talk about it.
All right.
Obviously, this was not supposed to be an Apple Plus release. This was supposed to come out in theaters, and it is a film that I'm somewhat sad that I wasn't able to watch in theaters because, especially for the sound. This is a
Is that about the pilot again?
no. It's about a captain on
captain.
on a ship. I don't know what it's like. All right, I'll give you the quick summary. Basically, it's a World War II movie, and it's about Tom Hanks. He plays the captain of a convoy who is traveling across the ocean towards Britain. And there's like a period of there's like 37 ships full of cargo and obviously a lot of soldiers that Tom Hanks leads. And he wants to bring them over to Britain. And basically it's I was going to say the fun thing. Basically, what happens is that they have like an air escort. They have like some planes that cover them for the first couple of kilometers, I'm going to say, when they leave the shore in America. But then, for a period of like 3 days, they lose that air escort because they just can't travel that far. And then in that period of time, before they meet the air escort that is going to greet them over on the other side of the shore. Can you follow that? I'm not.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm still following you.
Yeah. There's a period of time where they don't have that. And in that time is where the movie happens and they meet.
The Nazis.
Yes. In their U-boats.
Right. So it's Captain Phillips meets Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, meets Das Boot.
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah. And it's like, it's a 90-minute film, which it sounds like a normal movie, but that does not happen for those kind of movies. And that is something that I actually quite liked about it, because this is a contained thriller. This movie, it basically is 90 minutes of Tom Hanks sort of screaming instructions at his crew and telling them what to do, and just, it's got like, this is the lamest comparison ever, and I'm not taking any credit for that, but it's got that Jaws vibe too, because you have that danger across around you, and you don't know where it is, when it's going to attack. And they obviously use like those sonar things to ping something in the vicinity, and then it sounds. I'm kind of amazed that that movie exists, because it just doesn't feel like something that Tom Hanks would be doing now, even though he is famous for, like, as you said, Saving Private Ryan and those sort of American stories that always has Tom Hanks at its core.
What do you mean he wouldn't do that now?
I don't know. It's just, I'm kind of surprised that this movie exists. This feels like, or maybe this, if that came out like 20 years ago, it would be something that is now revered as one of the great Tom Hanks films, but I can't quite tell you why I'm surprised that this movie exists, because also it feels like such a tiny film, even though it isn't. I mean, the way they shot it, this looks like it could be a student film, just into, like, for example, where people talk about no. It looks and sounds great. I'm just saying, usually the movies that are centered around sort of one location with very, very little set, or with just
little location changes.
Yeah, it basically is one location.
Yeah.
Usually that is something that a film student shoots just because he doesn't have the budget to make more. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's
sure.
the whole reason why I'm comparing it. Not because it looks anything like a student film or anything like that. It looks great. I'm just, for whatever reason, it just kind of tickles me that movie exists. I don't know why.
It's a great word.
Yeah. But it's really good, man. I mean, they managed to have you on the edge of your seat basically the whole time.
How does it come across? More of an action American patriotism film, or more like a serious take on World War II or something like that?
You know me, that if it comes to like patriotism, is that a word? Is that
sure. Patriotism?
Patriotism? It sounds wrong to me.
No. Should be fine.
You know that I'm sort of number more numb to that. There's a great George W. Bush joke where I love impersonators. I watch them all, and one of them sort of impersonates George W. Bush, and he's like, I don't know, that's dumb. I know there's a B there. Yeah. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I don't care about that patriotism.
Well, the funny thing is, before we started recording, you were humming like the White House theme when the president comes out.
Well, I don't know why I had that.
You've been indoctrinated, dude.
No, I now I can tell you why I know why that's the case. I was watching some Daily Show YouTube video a couple of hours ago.
All right.
And I think that was in the background, and I was sort of humming it. Not
Sure,
really.
it's a good song.
Anyway,
It's a classic.
This really is more like it is a. What was the question? If it's more like a war film, or if it's more like
It's more like a patriotism. Well, like it's more of an action film, or is it more like more down to earth war movie?
I think it's very, very grounded and down to earth. It's not like
Yeah.
a lot of action. You obviously have some ship to ship combat, but it's nothing spectacular in that sense. You don't have any close ups of any explosions if that happens. But
Well, let me put it like this: it's more like Saving Private Ryan or like Dunkirk. Well, Dunkirk is just so minimalistic in what it does. I guess it's like over a short period of time, and it's just it's not a lot of dialogue. I guess and it's quite serious at times, and yeah.
Greyhound is very, very dialogue heavy, simply because, as I said, basically what's been yelled around the whole time is instructions like full left rudder, 180, full right rudder, and blah, blah, blah.
Starboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know both words.
Yeah. So in that sense, it's not like Dunkirk, because I think Dunkirk sort of excels at the action. Is not really, but obviously everything that happens there is sort of spectacular and sort of immersive, and gets you interested and involved because of the visuals. I think in Greyhound, it's more about the fear of things that could happen, like in Jaws.
But it's also from the perspective from like the Germans. Do you ever see the Germans down the U-boats?
Well, you do see them, but it's all told from the perspective of the Americans.
All right.
It's interesting because they do communicate with each other. The Germans sort of use their frequency to communicate with them, and sort of in that typical over-the-top English-German accent, they try to, which I'm sure they did in real life, they tried to sort of scare the Americans and tell them that no matter what they do, they can always see them because they obviously have that U-boat and they can strike at night and they're all going to die.
So we're taunting them?
Yeah, they were. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's just Tom Hanks movies, for whatever reason, they always work. I mean, I thought about this too. I don't think that Tom Hanks, when I think of Tom Hanks, I don't think of him as one of the best actors. I just don't. And that's nothing against him. But he's got something that just always works.
He's one of the most likable actors
he is.
out there. Yeah.
But there really hasn't been a Tom Hanks performance that really stands out to me. Is that a controversial statement? Could you name one? Forrest Gump, maybe?
I mean, yeah, like Forrest Gump's the first one that comes to mind, or others. One that really stands out, that's a tough question, because Tom Hanks is kind of Tom Hanks. He's always got a high level of quality, but I can't think of like a Meryl Streep type of performance right now.
Yeah. He didn't play the Iron Lady, for example.
Yeah, or
no, but
Kramer
versus Kramer. Oh, yeah. Wow, yeah. But once again, I think Tom Hanks is great. I really do. I like him a lot. I think Forrest Gump would be a good example. He is a completely different character, or he really excels in that performance. Or I can also like maybe Road to Perdition. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Is he that great in that film?
He's really good in that. Yeah. And once again, I think he's good in everything, but there's just not that. He rarely really floors me.
I guess he does often have more lighthearted kind of roles, and those kind of floor you less than like in a really like high drama kind of setting.
Yeah.
Because like in Catch Me If You Can or Forrest Gump, it's such a lighthearted, sweet character that it's different. It's kind of hard to compare to a couple other roles like Iron Lady or something like that.
Sure, but yeah, in this movie in Greyhound, it is. Oh, now hold on, I can think of one thing that I actually wrote down because I wanted to talk about this, and you mentioned it as well. Obviously, you got those Captain Phillips similarities with Greyhound. That movie, Captain Phillips, I think that is his best performance because that is genuinely the closest I've ever been to crying at a movie. Was the
Really?
ending of Captain Phillips? Yeah. Do you remember that scene at the end where he's?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's like the last scene. I think I remember.
It's the one where he, where a doctor is sort of checking up on him.
I think I remembered the scene like a couple of minutes before that.
Dude, that doctor scene, which is apparently a real doctor, and he's in that very shocked and traumatized state. That whole scene to me is one of the best acting scenes that I've ever seen, and that really, like, I don't cry at movies, and not because I don't want to or because I would be embarrassed by it. It just really rarely happens. That was the closest I've ever gotten. Look up that scene if you haven't seen it. Yeah,
I think I gotta rewatch it anyway. It's been such a long time.
So once again, I think Tom Hanks is a great actor. But just in Greyhound, he doesn't deliver a fantastic performance, in my opinion. It's very, very dialogue heavy, as I said multiple times now, and that's sort of always something that interests me. And like I've mentioned him a couple of times, Aaron Sorkin, his movies are always like dialogue heavy, and it's dialogue heavy and it's contained, and I love these contained thrillers. So this movie really it did work for me, even though it wasn't anything groundbreaking or anything like that. It's just a nice, small, little glimpse of a story that is not entirely based on a true story, but happened, of course, back then many times in similar fashion, I'm sure.
And this is by an established director or somebody new?
It's directed by Aaron Schneider. Oh, and it's written by Tom Hanks.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It's the third movie that he wrote.
What are the other ones?
He wrote That Thing You Do, which is the thing
seen that one.
He also directed, I believe. It's that music film.
No idea.
No idea.
Maybe if you see the poster.
Yeah, he directed that one, and then he wrote Larry Crown, the Julia Roberts film.
All right. Haven't seen that one either.
Yeah. I was surprised when I found out that he wrote Greyhound. It's based on a book called The Good Shepherd, which apparently has nothing to do with the Matt Damon film that we talked about.
The Robert De Niro film.
Yeah, but starring Matt Damon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Greyhound is not. It's written by Tom Hanks. It's not directed by him. It's directed by Aaron Schneider, who I have not heard of before. I think he's directed like 3 or 4 movies, and I haven't seen one of his films. Right. So I don't think it's by an acclaimed director.
Maybe he will be.
Maybe he will be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
right, cool.
Then that's on. Yeah, it's on Apple Plus if you have it. It came with my. I got a year-long subscription when I got my new iPhone 8 a couple of months ago. And I'm sort of. I got defending Jacob out of it, and now Greyhound.
Did you watch it on your iPhone?
I did.
Wow.
Because I can't watch it anywhere else. I don't have like an Apple TV. I literally couldn't watch it anywhere else if I wanted to.
You gotta buy that Amazon Fire TV stick.
Yeah. Maybe I could have watched it in like the web if I had logged into iTunes or something like that. But I did watch it on my little iPhone. It's not the best way to watch that movie, but
yeah, I bet it isn't.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it stars last 2 sentences.
Yeah, sure.
It stars also Stephen Graham, who's the guy who got into it with Al Pacino in The Irishman, the guy who showed up late, if you remember.
All right. Yeah.
He's a great little character actor. And also,
you didn't have to call him little.
I apologize. I wasn't talking about his size. He's a great character actor. And it also stars Elizabeth Shue in the most thankless role I have ever seen.
What do you mean thankless? Uncredited or?
I'm hoping that's a word. Isn't thankless a word?
Sure.
Elizabeth Shue, she's also in, for example, in Leaving Las Vegas with the great Nicolas Cage. And that's where I sort of first saw Elizabeth Shue. Very, very good actress. But in this movie, in Greyhound, she literally shows up in I think the first scene, and she plays the love interest. And they talk about like, let's drive off. Let's get married. Follow me. Come on. Let's get married. Tom Hanks says. And she's like,
with Tom Hanks?
With Tom Hanks, yeah.
All right.
They're about the same age.
Yeah, sure. But at that age, like, let's run away and get married.
Yeah, it's not like let's run away, but he's like proposing like, join me on the trip, and before he knows that he has to captain this convoy. But he's like, yeah, let's go away, let's get married. And she's like, no, not now. We'll do it once everything is settled down. And he has like this beautiful phrase where it's like, yeah, I'll be looking for you everywhere I am. I'll just, even if it's 20,000 miles away, I'll be hoping that it's you who's going to come around the corner, because that's just the best feeling in the world, to see you come around the corner or whatever.
Right. What romantic.
Very beautiful. Honestly, yeah. Very well written. And the whole film, I think he has like one scene where he looks out the window and he sees her like, in a flash of her, of his brain or whatever. He just pictures her and it's like, there she is, yeah. That's all you see of her. That's the whole fucking role.
Aw.
And she's like an actress. I mean, she's not that well known now, maybe, but she can do more than that. She would have deserved more than that.
It probably filmed more scenes, but
maybe
ended up on the cutting floor. Is that what you say? Editing floor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I also wrote that down. Right.
Yeah.
What's the best thing you've seen, dude?
So I told you this before we started recording. There are like two things that I've seen. One that came out like 2 months ago, and one that came out 8 months ago, which is a bit longer than the films that we usually talk about. It's such a good film, and I just want to talk about it. And it's Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Oh, sorry, is this your pick now, or this is not?
Yeah, that's gonna be my picture.
Controversial.
I know. Why? Was it a film or
No.
because of when it came out?
Just because of yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Well, the thing is, I think you saw it in the Vienna Film Festival,
I did.
10 months ago or something
In
like
October, yeah.
that. Yeah, and this film came out like for a limited kind of release, not I think in the big cinemas in December.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I didn't get to see it at that time, and now it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I saw that.
Came out quite recently, I think. And dude, what a fucking film!
It's amazing.
It's such a beautiful story, and just there's so many. What I really love about this film, because it's quite simple. It's about a woman from Paris, a painter, who is invited.
Talk about a painting, dude.
We did it finally.
Come on.
Call back to episode 2, 3.
Well, to a lot of episodes. We did it. You didn't even realize it.
It's a beautiful painting.
Yeah.
But she gets invited to kind of come out to like an island or kind of this secluded spot where a woman lives, and her mother, and the mother wants the painter to paint her daughter, so they can send the painting to a man who wants to marry her daughter, so I guess he can see how beautiful she is. And, well, it has to be said that the film takes place in, like, the 18th century or something.
Yeah, it's not today.
Yeah. Well, we could send a selfie, but
yeah.
let's do a portrait. But yeah, and it's about those two women kind of getting to know each other, because the woman is quite reluctant to be painted because she doesn't want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just them getting to know each other and opening up and kind of forming a relationship, and it's just such a beautiful film. And there's so many little details that they kind of hint at the beginning, which many films do. They kind of say something and then makes an appearance later on in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And this film does it so subtly. No, like so.
There's a B in there.
Subtly. That's terrible.
It's very subtle. Yeah.
Subtly. That's quite subtle. Whatever.
It's quite subtle. Yeah.
And it's Jesus, and it's just so beautiful just in the beginning, because it starts off with her being painted by some of her students, and if kind of after all the kind of things have taken place, and somebody asks her about a painting, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of remembers the whole story, and you see it through her kind of flashback, I guess. And it's just, while she's being painted, she just look at this and be careful when you paint that. Look at how I hold my hands. Like how people hold their hands becomes kind of an important kind of part of the film. Just when you can notice how people hold their hands. It's such a sweet little detail when you kind of start noticing that. And music, because they talk about music, and which I kind of didn't even realize while I was watching the film. The film has no score. It's completely silent.
Is that real? Really?
Apparently, yeah. I think
Wow.
I read that today or yesterday. They pretty much no music except when they
yeah.
sing music in the film or like play music.
Which
And
is
then
amazing.
and there are a couple of scenes when they then do play music, because the woman who is being painted like says she lived in a monastery as a kind of a nun or something like that, and she likes going to church, not necessarily because she wants to go to church, but because she wants to hear the music. And I guess back then the only way you could listen to music is either by playing it yourself or going to a orchestra or going to church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a beautiful scene towards the end of music and how big a part it is in their lives, and so many little things that make the film so beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great pick. This is one of your best picks, if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And as we said,
Yeah,
sorry, it's a French film, just so you know.
As we said.
Did we?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I was making fun of you. I don't think you said.
Anyway,
This was like, and I feel like we talk a lot about the Academy Awards, and it's not like that important to us. It really isn't. But I remember this was sort of a huge snub that the whole film community that I sort of, I'm not involved in, but I sort of dabble in, was very disappointed by, because I think it wasn't even they didn't even France didn't even
get nominated.
No, what's the word? They didn't. Oh God, submit that movie as their pick, because I think they submitted Les Miserables.
Oh, okay.
A new movie, a new version of that, and it was just no one understood why they didn't pick this one, because this is really a fantastic film.
It is,
and it stars I think her name is Adele Haenel.
Who I don't know.
Who's in Deerskin, for example? If you remember.
I know. I remember you telling me that when we watched Deerskin, and then I started watching Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and the characters are so different, and she's pretty much unrecognizable, I think.
Yeah, I think she was actually at the film festival, because this was the opening night film, and there's always the very opening night movie is just for guests who get an invite, and then right after it's for the public, for the general public, and she was only there for the first screening,
and then, for the closed one.
Yeah, and then I remember someone came up on stage when we saw it, and they were like, "Yeah, she's sorry, but she's just too tired," and she left after the first screening, because there was like maybe she would have stayed for the second one. Yeah, I wasn't that disappointed because I didn't know who she was. Like, okay, yeah.
After the film, you started crying.
No,
got out where she.
I was more of a fan of the other one. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. Yeah,
I forgot her as well. Naomi something, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. And it's directed by Celine Sciamma. That's actually a name that I remembered. I didn't have to look that up, because also that was someone who a lot of people were angry about not getting a nomination in any Academy Award, like director or.
Yeah, and I just looked her up because I didn't think I saw any of her films, but she wrote the screenplay for what's it called in English? My Life as a Zucchini.
Ah, yeah. Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also a very cool French film. Very beautiful animated film.
Yeah. I remember the poster. I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about. And, yeah, I mean, it's just that scene by the fire where they sing.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
What a song. I mean, it's so beautiful.
You really feel it inside of you for some reason. It's so bombastic.
Yeah, and I remember also that there's that one scene where she has like visions of her in her wedding dress.
Yeah.
One of the more scary moments that I remember in the last year in movies. I remember I watched this with a friend of mine, and we were both like, what in the world is going on now? Because this is not a scary movie, but there's like one or two scenes that were like, really, just, okay, what are we doing now? Like, it's very, very spooky now. But we were just absolutely floored towards the end, because, I mean, the ending is also really
like
great.
The last scene, which is like, I think like a 2-3 minute take.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
It
also leaves room for interpretation.
Yeah.
Do you think that this?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about.
I kind of want to talk about it because this is something that we've both seen. And
all right,
I want to
Let's
talk
put
about
out like a little spoiler warning for like the next 2 to 5 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, I'll put it in the time codes.
Yeah.
But I'm even if you haven't seen it, I'm going to try and stay vague. I really am. I just want to ask you one thing. Do you think that she didn't look at her at the end because she didn't know she was there? Or do you think she didn't look at her because she didn't want to?
I think she didn't see her. As
Right.
in, I don't know, like her life moved on. She was so fascinated just with the music at that time.
Yeah.
And I guess, well, the painter, she got nobody, apparently, right now. And she's still very much hung up on her.
Yeah.
And the other one's got a whole new life. Although, apparently, she's still thinking of the painter, as we see in the painting with the book,
the number,
which is open on 28. Yeah.
Yeah, which was a bit cheesy. I mean, I remember that.
I loved that scene. I thought it
Really?
was great.
I
It's
thought
like
a friend-
this hidden kind of meaning, as in,
Yeah.
there's still a place for you in my heart.
I remember the friend that I saw it with. You know her, Rezi. I saw it with
Yeah.
her. I remember she was rolling her eyes at that screen, at that scene,
Aw.
just because like she liked the movie a lot, but that's like you didn't need like that was a bit too much. Well, I get both sides. I didn't really mind it.
But what do you think? Did she ignore her, or
I think
see
she
her?
did. I think she tried so hard not to look at her because she didn't want to see her. Because
And that's why she's crying.
that is also one of the reasons why.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's sort of her thinking like, if I look back now, if I see her again, I'm going to be back at the place where I was and the place that I'm trying to forget. And,
Right. Well, it's a kind of a cool interpretation, yeah.
yeah, I'd have to see it again. I mean, because obviously this is something that I thought about after I saw it. Because while you're seeing it for the first time, you're like, yeah, you know what I mean? You're just in
Yeah.
that moment for this, for its duration. But
I mean, I think it's kind of a cool interpretation, but I guess in the film you never actually see her glance that way, because she sees her like the minute she walks in, like the second she walks in, and she never kind of glances over.
Right.
But yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a beautiful callback to the scene before when they talked about music and about orchestras, and they like describe what it feels like to be in an orchestra.
Yeah.
Like, listen to it, and just her being so overwhelmed by how beautiful it is.
Yeah, I mean it's a gorgeous film in
Yeah.
many ways, and I think like because obviously, for example, Call Me by Your Name was a movie that I think that sort of managed to break out of the role of like a movie that only cinephiles enjoyed, and it seemed like everyone enjoyed that movie, because usually as well these Academy Award nominated films, many people don't watch them. But just I can only go from my group of friends and family.
Right.
Everyone saw that movie and loved that movie, and I think Portrait of a Lady of a Lady, is it Young Lady? No, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
The original title is A Young Lady.
Right. Yeah, but the English title is Portrait
English
of
is
a
just
Lady.
of a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be exactly the same if more people would watch it.
I think like there's a bigger barrier, or just a bigger hesitation of people seeing this film just because it's a foreign language film.
Yeah. Well, there's Italian in Call Me by Your Name.
Sure, but it's like mainly English.
I think I just said if and would in the same sentence. My English teachers are like, you know.
Ready to hit you.
Yeah, they are. I want to apologize.
But yeah, it's...
If I could, I would. Worst sentence ever.
I do agree. I think it would be accessible to like a mainstream audience because it's just such a beautiful film. But yeah, it's
everyone
hard
who
to
has
kind of
seen it
compare
loves it.
but Lady Portrait on Fire is also like in a different setting, like more of a period film, which also like less people, I guess, are interested in than
Sure.
like the setting of Call Me by Your Name.
Absolutely.
And I think people would love it, but I kind of see why, I guess, fewer people have seen it. And it played in very few cinemas, I think, when it came out, and
Yeah, but now, I mean,
quite a short time, yeah.
if you're listening to this, it's now obviously, as you said, on Amazon.
Yeah. For free.
For free, if you have a subscription for that.
Yeah.
Please watch it.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
If you enjoyed Call Me by Your Name, I feel like that could be a good way of pursuing people to watch this. If you enjoyed that movie, in my opinion, you would have a great time with this movie too.
Or just if you like good films.
Also that.
And good paintings. There are a couple of very good
Good
paintings.
paintings.
in
Oh, I love it, dude. Yeah. We finally did it.
there.
So what was the other thing you saw? Or are you gonna...
I watched it like an hour ago or two. It's I'm No Longer Here, which is a Mexican film.
Yeah.
I don't know what the original title is, or
So
rather,
far,
I don't want to pronounce it.
I don't know this.
All right, it's a Netflix film. Oh, well, it came out in like film festivals, yeah, like also like around October or something like that. But it came out on Netflix in May.
So
It didn't have any other releases, as far as I know.
What was the name again? Sorry.
I am no longer here.
I'm just googling it just so I can see the poster.
And it's about a kid, I guess, a teenager from like a northern Mexican city who's kind of involved a bit with gangs, and it's just about. It's kind of takes place in. They show two kind of timelines, I guess. They show him when he's still in Mexico and when he's in New York, and then why he had to go to New York, because the opening scene is him having to go to the car and having to leave his family, and why he had to do that. And he's kind of in this music group, this counterculture, and it's just about his life and how he kind of had his life in Mexico with his friends and like this kind of gang, and then having to go to New York without speaking any English and trying to get by.
Okay.
And
you don't sound excited about it.
It's a cool film, but I read this the sentence about another film, another review, but I think it's kind of fitting to this film as well. It's good, but it feels kind of pointless.
Okay.
Because like towards the end of the film, I'm like, I don't feel like the journey has come full circle, or I see how it kind of end up here. It moves quite fast. You kind of see how he ended up in New York and what he does there, and then in like last 10 minutes, it kind of takes a kind of big kind of turn, and then you kind of see where he ended up, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
And yeah, I think there should have been a couple of extra scenes, maybe a bit more to kind of explain what happens towards the end.
It sounds a bit like what was the movie that we both saw at the film festival? Emma?
Yeah.
Is that similar to that? Just because you said like there's people like like gangs dancing.
Well, Emma's more like artists. They're not like in a gang or anything like that.
Right, but you said they're dancing, no? I mean,
yeah, right. It's like they're part of this Colombia something dance groups, like a certain part kind of music that kind of nobody seems to know outside of like that city in northern Mexico. Cambia. Yeah, it's Colombian and Cambian music.
Interesting. I just read it now. Sorry.
Yeah. And it's about him and his friends who kind of always listen to this music, kind of sing, and he has this very special dance that he does to that music, and he keeps listening to, and he's very particular about his music, and it kind of makes enemies because of that, I guess, as well.
Right.
Because he hates every other kind of music. And yeah.
Does it star anyone you know?
No. Especially I think most actors I read that star in this film are not actually actors. Kind of like in Cidade de Deus in City of God. God, yeah. Were you impressed by my Portuguese skills?
It's one word I wouldn't use now. It tickled me again because of Vicky
Dude,
Cristina Barcelona.
Yeah, dude, I love that word.
Yeah, apparently you do. Every why didn't you say le portrait de la jeune femme?
Dude, I didn't take French.
You didn't take Portuguese. What are you talking about?
I took Italian, which is kind of similar to Spanish, and Spanish is kind of similar to Portuguese, you know. It's kind of similar.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's the most fucking pretentious thing I've heard you ever say.
I didn't even plan on saying Cidade de Deus. It just came to mind.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a cool film, but I guess it's not as accessible as Portrait of a Lady on Fire, or what did you call it?
What do you mean accessible? Yeah,
I think
it's on Netflix.
It's an easier watch.
Right. Okay. You meant okay. Easier consumable, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a better word.
Sure.
I don't. How did I
it is
say
just
it?
Objectively, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is just objectively a better made film.
Right.
But it's just an amazing film. So
in French, it's Portrait de la jeune. Oh God! See, my French has been.
Dude, just do it with confidence. Believe me, I pronounce it wrong as well.
I forgot how to pronounce Oh God! Nope. I'm not gonna do it.
All right.
Phil, pronunciation in French. Google.
Oh, come on.
Portrait portrait de la jeune fille en feu.
Beautiful.
Yeah, one of those words is completely
I'm
wrong.
already aroused.
Well, really?
It's a beautiful language.
Schmetterling. Whenever I think of like beautiful languages, everyone keeps if they talk about German, it's always Schmetterling. Right, we're all over the place again.
Right.
Yeah, so that movie was called. Say one more time the Netflix film.
I'm no longer here.
I'm no longer here,
Yeah.
and will be no longer here after. I don't know. What I'm trying to say. Fucking me. Yeah.
Right.
Is that it?
I mean, I guess quick shout out to a new YouTube channel by Paul Verzi.
Oh.
He is like 2,000 subscribers by nights. Now it's like over a week old, the channel.
Yeah.
And it's Dude, I Called It.
Okay.
Which is about he invites celebrities, comedians. Like the first episode was with Bill Burr, and then with Tom Green, I think his name is, and Pete Davidson was in an episode recently. And it's only like between 3 to like 7 minutes each clip. And he asks his guest, what's a thing that I have predicted before, and what is a prediction that they make for the future?
Right. Okay.
And
it's like a podcast format, or how do
like
they...
it's like only like 3 to 7 minutes. It's like
okay.
very quick interview, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of funny. And the thing is, we talked about Paul Verzi before. He's a great comedian
Yeah.
that we've seen about, well, now 3 years ago, I think. 2-3 years ago. Quite a long time ago.
Yeah, he opened for Bill Burr, yeah.
Yeah. And he's great.
He was really
so
good.
check it out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Anything else? Did you want to say?
No. I'm sorry. I just...
No.
Yeah.
And one thing that I want to talk about, I guess there's very little time now left.
Yeah. I'll cut
So
you off in
maybe
like
I'll
10 seconds.
save for
No, go on.
next week.
You want to save it?
Yeah, I'll save it.
All right. Yeah. I'm asking because I already forgot. Sorry. One more time, what was the YouTube show called?
Dude, I Called It.
Dude, I Called It, of course, yeah. How could I forget? But that's perfect. Thank you. Now we have 4 things that we talked about. Easier for
You're
the
so
cover
welcome.
design. Yeah.
Well, 4 things. Greyhound.
Netflix film and portrait and Paul
Right,
Verzi.
yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, please. I mean, I hope that the energy was all right this episode. What I can tell you is that the movies and especially the 2 picks, because I've seen both of those things. I haven't seen your 2 other things. These are 2 great things, and especially Portrait of a Lady on Fire is a film that you definitely should seek out if you haven't. So please do that. And yeah, I think that's it for today's show. Once again, thank you as always for listening.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube and Instagram.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah.
And on Instagram, we're Best Thing Radio, as well as on Twitter. And on YouTube, Best Thing We've Seen podcast, or Best Thing We've Seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, check us out. Leave us a like or review or anything like that.
Yeah, and let us know what's the best thing you've seen. And let us know if you watch any of the things that we discussed. We'd love to know if you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, please let us know that as well.
Sure, yeah. And yeah, excited for next week's episode. Maybe we'll do a midnight special sometime again.
Yeah, you want it?
Sure.
Gotta mix up the sort of the vibes, you know? Now we have today's show, and next week is going to be completely different again.
Yeah, now that's like us after like 5 coffees. A whole lot of energy.
Wow. I'm down.
Yeah. It's just me shaking my leg for 40 minutes.
I look forward to that.
All right.
We'll be back next Monday. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.